Welcome to this update video, basically of where my channel is. It's back, as you can see, thank God. Thank you, the YouTube team as well, for being able to actually bring it back so fast. I mean, I really wasn't expecting it to be back up and running in this sort of time frame. Just to sort of put things into place, my channel was hijacked, basically. It was hacked and taken over. I lost complete control of it and all of my Google account. So basically my whole Google login, everything was gone. It was horrific, and but the YouTube team have been able to actually get and work through all of the things that had to be done. There's a lot of steps involved. So thank you so much for those incredible people, the team YouTube. It's sort of like really they couldn't have done more, and I'm so surprised that I've actually got the channel up and running again within 24 hours. Or basically about 24 hours, a bit over actually, by the time I've sort of 24 hours for me anyway, from when I first noticed that it was down, and then the next. Like, 24 hours later, I wake up again and it's now all sort of sorted. But there was a lot of steps involved, which I will go through. If you're a content creator or if you're sort of doing anything on YouTube, that may be of use to you. If you're not a content creator, then I shudder to think how you would then get back to your Google account, basically, because that's where it all starts. Is your Google account goes, because that's your login into YouTube, and there's so much. I didn't realize just how much is actually linked in to my Google account. I'm lucky that I had a few things that weren't, and I will talk about those as well. Like, for example, Twitter was incredibly important to get the process started. I don't know what else I would do without actually having Twitter. So that was incredibly important, and I'm glad I didn't use my Google login for that. I had I'd set that one up especially. I'm sort of always a bit wary about just automatically doing things like through the Google or Facebook, whatever else it might actually be. And I think that's a healthy way to be. So that would be one tip I would give you is, again, if you're not a YouTube partner, I don't know, like I tried initially for a good hour and a half, I guess, just trying to figure out my way through the Google, help files. And some way to sort of then make contact with Google, but I just couldn't find any way through. And then eventually I did sort of find out that really I've got to be contacting the YouTube Partnership Program through Twitter, and that then after that everything just went so smoothly. Anyway, I guess the important news is that the channel is back up and running. You can see I've only got 179 videos that I've published at this stage. Everything else has had to be turned to private, so I can actually then check everything through. I've had to completely rebuild everything. My channel name was changed. All of the branding was gone. All of the descriptions were gone. Everything was gone. So I've still got to go through and figure out more of that. But anyway, it is up and running with the most recent of the videos. But I will actually be going through over the coming days or weeks, because there's a lot of videos, and so I'll just slowly sort of work my way through and make them public. And so it will eventually get back to sort of where it was. I may give up after a couple of years worth of videos, but we'll see how we go. But anyway, I've got nearly 200 in there at this point in time. I've done some of the live streams as well, like the. So if you are sort of wanting to look at the chat tactics and things like that, then I've done them back a little way. So we've got a few of them in there, and I'll add all of these in there as well. My home area does actually now just have videos. I think I had some playlists and things in there. I'll probably go back and put that one back in there as well. But there's an awful lot to do. The About page has. I do actually have the business inquiries and stuff now sort of set up as well. Now, I did actually lose about 700 subscribers, I think, in the end. So not too bad, but if you are one of those subscribers, I do apologise for the site getting hacked, and it's my own fault, my own stupid fault, and I'll go through what I did and why, how I got hacked and sort of scammed, because that's what it is. I've nearly been scammed once before, actually. This is the second time. This is the only successful time this has actually happened. I'll talk about that at another time, but I almost got scammed with a crypto scam some years ago now. Anyway, this was bad. So anyway, I have lost some subscribers. My apologies if you were put out at all. Hopefully you didn't fall for the like they did change the channel name, so hopefully you didn't fall for anything that was sort of happening with the content they were putting up. I don't even know what they were putting up. I believe it was some sort of crypto scam, as what I understand it to be. But they had changed the channel name to Ripple. So that's what they had changed it to, and so anyway, we'll discuss. But that's behind us now. I've sort of got the everything else is now sort of set up. By the way, before I even went in there, I did actually have the two-factor authentication already set up, and they got around that as well. So this is actually fairly substantial. Right, and to commemorate, you can see on the screen now, there's a Hopelessly Incompetent T-shirt, which I've actually just created to commemorate this particular issue. I'll just show you that. I've got it on my merch store now. So this is at my merch store, which is just shop.daztactic.com. If you do want it, this is a new shirt which I've now added in called Hopelessly Incompetent, and I'll just open it up. It comes in two colours, either black or blue, like a very, very dark grey blue, whichever one. It's subtle. I didn't want it to be sort of too blatantly bang, here we go. So it's a fairly sort of subtle design. What it actually is as you can sort of see through there, it's a square peg trying to get into a round hole, which is I guess the epitome of incompetence. So anyway, I've got Hopelessly Incompetent to commemorate this particular hopelessly incompetent aspect of what I've just done over the last couple of days. So anyway, I have learnt my lesson, guys. I am sorry. As you can sort of see, it's actually this one's still got some of the back stuff, has it? No, that's okay. Yep, and then there's just a so this is actually through my merch store. Anyway, so you can grab that if you want. Two colours, multiple sizes, back in through here. This particular T-shirt, I believe, that has changed. I haven't had a quick look to see how this one goes, but this one does get manufactured and shipped now in many, many different locations around the world. So it should be the shipping should be fairly good, and it should be fairly responsive. I know, being in Australia, it actually really is difficult for me to get good shirts that will actually, where I can sort of just go and through merchandise or whatever. So it usually takes me weeks to get them, but I've only literally put this one up like a couple of minutes ago before I started recording. I did that. I made the quick little sort of slide that sort of thing comes up. As you can see at the moment, we've got the Get Your Merch, which is just my generic merchandise, but this is the new one, Hopelessly Incompetent. So if you do feel like grabbing that one, then you can. This is Australian dollars, so if you're in America, don't be scared by that one. Anyway, that's we'll just get back out of there, and we'll go through what actually happened. And just so that if you are in the same position, particularly if you're a content creator, I can then sort of go through the different bits and pieces. By the way, I don't have any internet at the moment, so a big shout out to my daughter, who has lent me a special little sort of wireless modem type thing. So I'm using that to upload this video, but I don't have any internet for another day or two. The same day that I lost my channel, lost my Google account, something's gone wrong with my internet, and I lost my internet as well. So it all happened probably within about a 4-hour period. So anyway, you got to laugh, don't you? I mean, that's just the way things tend to roll. Is when things go badly, they go very, very badly. To compound that as well, I've been away the previous week, which is why I haven't sort of really been doing many live streams to try to help get my dad sorted in clear out his storage shed, because he's moving into aged care. And I've now got my right shoulder. I can't bring it higher than this because I've been carrying boxes and things. So I've actually done something to my shoulder as well. So yeah, it's all happening. It's been a bad week. It's been a very, very bad week. But the next week should actually be a good one. So because we'll have everything sort of back up and running. Right, well, let's go through what actually happened. I'll sort of do a blow by blow, so you can sort of see exactly what did actually happen in terms of the the emails that I received, what I sent back, and all this sorts of so on and so forth, which may help if you're a content creator. So if you're not, look, thank you if you did sort of, for your support, and thank you for sticking with the channel through this trying time. But the rest of it probably won't be all that interesting to you. I'm just going to be literally just going through what was sent to me, my responses, how things developed, and then finally the actual hack itself, and then what I did to then try to sort of fix it. As I said before, if you're a content creator and you're in the same boat panicking, go to Twitter, make sure that you can actually log into Twitter or get somebody else to do that for you, and start the process through Twitter to @TeamYouTube. That's the process if you're a content creator with a partnership. I don't know what happens if you're not a partner. I'm guessing you've got to then just go through other Google channels, which may or may not be quite difficult. By the way, I'll have a link to this particular T-shirt in the description down below if you are interested. Okay, so it started off with this email that I got from Jacob from not NordVPN. I've got to say that this NordVPN has nothing to do with this. In fact, I sort of looked up afterwards, after it all sort of started to go south, and did a search for NordVPN scams. And one thing that NordVPN tells you is if they have a domain name with hyphens in it or any sort of weird spelling, then it's not them. So this is because the reason I got sort of that I thought this was real is because I know that NordVPNmedia.com is actually a domain, but it doesn't have the hyphen. And so in this case, I just assumed, okay, this is the legitimate domain. Like they've got NordVPN-media.com. I don't know how they got their domain, to be honest. Anyway, that's what they actually had. So this is business at. It was the actual email address that they had sent to me, and from this fellow called Jacob. So I sort of thought, okay, this looks legitimate, because I get a number of different emails from different people looking for sponsorship or to either collaboration or sponsorship. And in the vast majority, I don't actually either know the product or believe that I can actually promote the product, because if I don't believe in it. But with NordVPN, I know NordVPN. I've used them in the past, and so I was happy to. I was thinking, yeah, okay, that's a good fit. I can sort of work with that one. Anyway, I'll just work through what he sort of said. Again, one of the other things you often get with scams is you get spelling mistakes. And unless I don't think I just skimmed through, but it actually was, it reads pretty well. So it says, hello, my name is Jacob and I'm agent for NordVPN. At NordVPN, we have one goal. By the way, remember, this is not NordVPN saying this is a scammer, and that is to make the internet a more secure and private place. Yeah, well, thank you for that. We search for social media influencers who could help to promote our services. We would like to find out if you would be interested in promoting NordVPN on your YouTube channel. This feature would be a short clip, approximately 30 to 60 seconds long, that showcases the features of our VPN. I will also ask you to answer a few questions. Do you have any other social platforms beside YouTube? How much does 1 minute of video on your channel cost? And could you tell us about your previous promotional campaigns, who you've worked with, and were they successful? If you're interested, please let us know as soon as possible. Best regards, Jacob. So that was on 15th of 9th. Basically, I did a reply. I forget what date that came in. I was actually away when it did come in, came in the couple of days before I did the reply. So anyway, that's the message that I received from kind old Jacob, who is all about, of course, making the internet a more secure and private place, which is such a nice, warm area that that Jacob's sort of coming from. Anyway, that's sort of what came in. Again, I can't see any typos in there. It all looks above board to me in that sort of instance. Domain name checked out. Even when I did the reply, I double checked that it wasn't being hijacked to a different domain. Everything I sort of did, I thought, okay, look, it seems legitimate. And also the questions that they were asking do seem legitimate. Like these are, you don't always get exactly these, but you get like different sorts of things where they need to make sure that that they're going to get value as well. And so that seemed okay. And so then I responded back, which is basically, and so I have looked, I've obscured, obfuscated some of the areas of where, it's sensitive information, whether it be sort of like monetary amounts or people mentioned, things like that. So, hi Jacob, thanks for making contact. I would indeed be interested in NordVPN as a sponsor, as I feel I could recommend your product to my audience. My main active social platform is YouTube, but I also have Twitter, a Twitter X account, but I rarely use it. I did use it a lot yesterday, basically trying to get this thing fixed. I'm fairly active now on Discord, but not sure if that qualifies as social media, and also have a Twitch channel. So for a placement on a standard YouTube video, I'll be wanting to charge between, I just gave them like a figure, depending on the video and context. This would basically be the exclusive sponsorship of that video, because I wouldn't have multiple sponsors essentially. So that's sort of how that would then work. I don't currently have a sponsor for my weekly gaming news chat tactics session, because I'm going to start looking for a sponsor for that. So if you're watching this and you are a sponsor, hey, so you know what to write now to grab my attention. But no, I am actually I'm going to look to try to get a sponsor for the chat tactic live streams. And that may be a good fit for you, because I actually really did think, okay, this is a really good fit for NordVPN. Like I could then have sort of like a few little segments throughout the typically 2 hours of live streaming, and I could also then have them on screen as well, so I could actually give them good value. This is a live stream where I go through the gaming news and updates of the week, and it runs for about 2 hours. I usually start with a giveaway summary at the start of the session, and then finish with the game giveaway at the end of the session. That's the marble run, guys. If you haven't been part of that, it's good fun. Like basically everyone gets a marble, and depending on where their marble comes in the Marble Grand Prix, as if they actually pick up the actual game code. I could mention your sponsorship multiple times throughout, and could also have your details on the screen for much of the video as the sponsor. The format is fairly loose, so it would work well with mentions and insertions about NordVPN. So I thought that was probably the best value for someone like NordVPN. It's sort of like, and that's where I'm probably going to look. The sponsor I'm going to be looking for that will be something like NordVPN, to be honest, because it is something that would then sort of work, I think, fairly well for them, fairly well for me as well. I really take on sponsored content unless I feel I can endorse the company, which isn't a problem at all with NordVPN. Most of the campaigns I've worked with have been specific game coverage, and then I just sort of did a very, very quick summary of what I'd covered and what the audience sort of was with some of those recent campaigns. So anyway, that's sort of where that's what I sent back to them. So cheers, Daz, and that's sort of where we were. I didn't bother obscuring my Daz at Daz tactic. I'm not hiding that. So that's just my email account that I use for YouTube. Don't spam it though, of course. And I'm now wiser than what I was. So if you're a scammer, forget it. I'm gonna be able to see through what you're doing now. Okay, so then Jacob then responds, and so he responds pretty quickly after I send my message, actually. And when I looked at it, again, I'm suspicious of things, and so I'm sort of looking to think, okay, gee, you did answer very, very quickly, like it was within probably an hour. Actually, it may have been a couple of hours. Anyway, I looked at the time, thought, okay, look, that time is about right for the USA. Like for me, 9:11 a.m. is I think it's early afternoon for a lot of the United States. So I thought, okay, the timing is okay. That's sort of working out pretty well. And so so I thought, yep, that sort of fits. The one thing that did actually grab my attention as soon as I opened it up was the smaller name, Jacob and the NordVPN team. But I saw it and thought, oh, that's weird. But I didn't actually then, I then skipped it. That's sort of like the only real little clue that I've had in the emails that there's something not quite right. Anyway, so and you can see how detailed the scammer actually is. It's not just a simple. It's really quite involved. So hi Daz, thanks for your reply. As to the live broadcast, it is a good idea. We're ready to discuss the details. Again, like it's specifically talking about aspects of what I wrote about. We're pleased to hear that you're interested in our promotional option for NordVPN on your YouTube channel. If you're interested in long-term cooperation, please let us know, as our typical cooperation period is 1 to 3 months. So I'm thinking, okay, that's cool. Like that again, that feels right for what we'd be talking about. In terms of compensation, we're prepared to offer you X amount, along with 40% in sales generated using your promo code. We'll also cover all commissions for payment platforms. So that's I thought, oh well, that's really generous. So I thought that was great. So I'm thinking fantastic. At this stage, I'm thinking awesome. Like, I was actually really quite excited. Before my bubble was burst. To make the promotion more enticing to your viewers, we can create a personalised promo code that offers them an additional 4 months of NordVPN subscription and a 50% discount. Alternatively, you can provide us with a promo code of your choice, as long as it's no more than 9 characters and can include numbers. For example, promo 2023. So I could sort of then put anything I liked in there. To formalise our cooperation, establish all the details, we can send you a contract. So that's the only bit of grammar that's not quite right. You know what I mean? Like, it should be, to formalise our cooperation and establish all the details, we will send you a contract. So that was, again, I didn't notice it. I think subconsciously I would have twigged on that one, but it didn't ring alarm bells for me. This contract will specify deadlines for projects, cooperation options such as product reviews or event participation, financial compensation, and other important terms. We aim for transparency and mutual benefit for both parties. Again, it sounds very, very legitimate, except for the can rather than the will. We have attached the contract in electronic form for your convenience. That's the other thing that wasn't quite there. They didn't attach it, but they did send me a WeTransfer, which I'll show you in just a minute. Please review it carefully and let us know if you agree with all the terms. If you have any questions or need assistance in completing the contract, please don't hesitate to contact me. Once the contract is signed, we can begin creating unique content based on the agreed ideas. We're confident that our collaboration will be successful and mutually beneficial for our brand and your blog audience. Looking forward to starting our creative collaboration. Best regards, and then the smaller Jacob and the NordVPN team. So there we go. So now, they didn't actually have signature files, I guess. Not that that bothers me anymore, because that's also like, a lot of companies don't bother with signature files, but a lot of them do. I know that, like, sometimes I put my signature on when I'm sending things out as tactic, basically, but quite often I just don't, because it sometimes does get caught up in sort of anti-spam stuff. Anyway, so that looked pretty legitimate. I mean, the one thing was they didn't attach the contract form. What they did was they sent it to me. So in this instance, I just reply back and say, thanks, Jacob, that sounds great. I'm very interested in a long-term contract if that works for you. And the viewer promotion sounds awesome. I'd be guided by what promo code you think would work well, but I was thinking just a simple Daz tactic would be fine, unless you have other thoughts. Cheers, Daz. So just a very simple, yep, I'm happy to go ahead with what they suggested. And then they used a WeTransfer, like, so just no reply at WeTransfer.com. WeTransfer is 100% legitimate as a file transfer service. I get a lot of material from a lot of developers through WeTransfer. I get some through Dropbox as well. So these are sorts of things that you come across all the time. So it was business at NordVPN-media.com sent you, the NordVPN collaboration documentation, media files, contract via WeTransfer. So this all thing sort of came through from WeTransfer. Again, everything just looked legitimate to me. It's what I've been getting in the past, from different developers or different people who have been sort of sponsoring content. So it's certainly not out of the ordinary. I haven't seen a password before with anything, but this one did have a password of just Nord 2023, and I was sort of assuming, okay, that must be there because the contract may be sensitive. So that's again just a little bit of extra care from their perspective, so you can then sort of I then downloaded the files. I'll show you the file so you can sort of see what came through as well. Now this may be a little bit hard to see, but this is NordVPN promotional materials.rar. That's the file that I actually then created. Now, I did wonder, why was it a RAR file and not a zip file? That actually sort of concerned me a little bit, and I should, at this point, this should have been the big sort of flashing lights aspect for me to start to be more careful, but I just wasn't. I was so believing in what had happened with all of the details that had been sent. And I was really on cloud nine, thinking, "Oh, this is fantastic. I've picked up." I didn't even have to start searching for a sponsor for the chat tactics session. So I thought, this is awesome. So we've got NordVPN promotional materials.ra. Again, the RA was interesting because I thought, well, I no longer have WinRAR on my system. And RAR files are not the most common way of actually sort of compressing files up. Again, I've often get things in zip file format. So the actual fact that it was compressed didn't really bother me that much. But anyway, I'll just open it up. So 7-zip does actually allow you to open them up. So I'll just go into the Open Archive. What I did was I extracted it to NordVPN promotional materials, but I don't really want to have those files back on my system again. But I can actually just open the archive in 7-zip so you can sort of see what it looks like. And then we put in our Nord 2023 password to access the file itself. And so this is what actually happened. I'll just make this a little bit larger. Unfortunately, the screen size will be a little bit small there for you. I'll just leave it there. And so it's got the NordVPN promotional materials section. I'll just move that one across. And then we actually have a few different sorts of things in through here. Where now the fact that it has been compressed once, I then thought, okay, look, sometimes people do different things. I went through with what was actually open there. I had a good look at everything. Again, this is where I should have then realised this was I was being scammed at this point. When I opened up the NordVPN logo, it was tiny, and that never happens. I've never received a tiny little ping file for sponsorship or for any sort of promotion. They've always been very professional, and that one wasn't, and that should have rang alarm bells. I just thought in my head, I'm going to have to ask them for a high resolution logo. I didn't think this is suspicious, and I should have. There we go. Hopelessly Incompetent. Is now kicking in. So grab your T-shirts below if you're also hopelessly incompetent. But anyway, that should have rung alarm bells for me. Even when I had extracted it, you can see there that we've got a NordVPN contract update 1509, but it's a .exe file. Now, sometimes archives are .exes. I should have realized that's not usual, but I did at the time. I was actually rushing. To put this, I was rushing because I needed to go somewhere. I had no internet, so I was borrowing my daughter's Wi-Fi at that point in time, and I was just trying to quickly get things done before I had to go and do things, and I didn't spend the due diligence to really think this doesn't look right. And I should have at this point started to do NordVPN scam and search for that one. I would have then picked up that the email address was incorrect. But up until this point, I had full trust in all the negotiation that had gone on. So anyway, they sent me through a few different ads, and these were legitimate NordVPN ads. So I had a look at those. They were all fine. They were all good. They had different privacy policies. I thought it was weird that these were in text form. I wasn't sure why they were. So I wasn't sure what that was happening, but the important thing was the actual contract of whatever it was going to be. Also inside this little thing called package, I did look at this one beforehand. Again, there was a whole lot of little DLL files that were sort of back in through here. I didn't think much of it, and that should have also rung massive alarm bells for me. And so I didn't worry about that one so much. I just left that one where it was. And then stupidly, I then double-clicked on this contract because I thought it was an archive. I thought it was then I thought it would then open up in a new archive. What I should have done is actually right-clicked it with 7-zip again and tried to open it that way. I think that way I would have also then twigged that something's not quite right. But sometimes and I thought maybe the archive does rely on these DLL files, but I wasn't thinking straight at this stage. It was late in the day. I was hopelessly incompetent, and that's actually sort of what then happened. So that was how I let the and I don't know exactly what actually happened with this. Now, what either happened there was it either logged into my YouTube and just opened it up, because I'm always logged into it. So it possibly just got straight into YouTube, and then with the DLL files or whatever it was, actually then took over the YouTube account at that point, and by doing that, it also took over my Google account as well. or it just went straight opened up my my browser where I've got my Google account open all the time. And so either one, it took over the Google account and the YouTube account. Within minutes, I was getting a heap of different emails. Actually, I might just see if I can show you those as well. Okay, so this is what I woke up to basically, and this had come through from the night before. So I had sent I had clicked on that file, maybe it would have been probably an hour or two before this time frame in here. So I'm not sure what actually happened there, how that sort of all came about. But anyway, this was essentially where the actual hack then took place. And so essentially they essentially got a Google verification code. Now the reason I'm getting all of these is that I do actually have my Gmail account, which I'm so thankful for as well. This is a good tip. I had all of my Gmail mails being sent to another email account. So anything that came to my Gmail account would automatically then get forwarded on to my business account, basically, which is not my daztactic.com account. It's a different account entirely. So I've actually sort of just masked that out just so you can't see it. But that's essentially, they were all just coming through to that email account. So I could see what was happening. If I didn't have that set up, I wouldn't have access to it at all. I wouldn't see any of this because they had by this stage taken over, or in the process of taking over, my Google account. So I think that's a pretty handy tip to do that, to be honest. And so I've always done that. I've just anything Gmail related, because I don't like replying in Gmail. I like to use Outlook, and so we're looking at Outlook with this. And so by doing that, at least all of my Google account stuff was again coming back through. So Google verification code, security alerts. The Google account was recovered successfully by the hacker. This is all from the hacker. So all done within a minute, basically. It's recovered successfully in through there again as well. Another security alert, critical security alerts. We've got all these different security alerts about the changes that they're making, but they're getting through and making them. So they were able to essentially go in and change and hijack what the security codes were that were coming through. And so everything was sort of just working away, basically. Email verification code back in through there as well. They verified not just they verified an email as their verification. You can see their recovery email verified by the Google account, and so it then verified that particular email that they had changed it to. This was all within just a couple of minutes of the hack starting. Just go to the next one, and we can sort of see through here. More security alerts, new sign-in using a backup code. So now they not only changed the email that it went to, they also then inserted their own backup codes for the actual account. And so they actually used the backup code to then sort of start to break into it. New sign-in with backup codes, critical security alerts back in through here. An issue with your family group. I don't know what that's relating to. I wasn't, but at this stage when I sort of was seeing all this stuff, I thought, shit, what's going on? and that's when I tried to get into Google and just couldn't do it. Your Google account was recovered successfully. So they basically, now this is not recovered by me. This is half an hour after it all sort of starts. They've actually now recovered the Google account. I'm just getting the forwarded messages. I wouldn't get these if I wasn't forwarding them straight through to my other email. But having said that, I couldn't actually access, when I started to use the links that these provided, I couldn't go any further with them. So I was completely blocked out. And then it eventually turns on the two-step verification as well at 7:30 my time of the evening, so half an hour after the whole process started. And then finally, this is sort of like where the messages then sort of stopped. But you'd see over the next few minutes, I've had a few other emails come in, so I've just sort of I've locked them off. But security alerts, recovered email verified, again, security alert, new sign-in using a backup code, and then critical security alerts back in through this other side as well, and then new sign-in using a backup code. So I don't know how or why there were so many different backup codes being used, but it was painful, like to sort of go through the process. And then finally, they then sort of, by this stage, 9:41, I think by this stage they were now fully into my site, and I'm not sure exactly when all the changes happened with my with the Daz Tactic YouTube channel, but by 11:30 I then got the message saying we've reviewed your content, and essentially they've essentially had then YouTube had then closed down my account. I've been completely banned at that point for violations of harmful and dangerous content. I forget what it actually did sort of say. Anyway, that's I've never received one of those before, but that was basically that was the end of my channel at that stage. So the channel had gone, and that's why a lot of you were then sort of opening it up and thinking, what the hell? It's a different name, and it's also got a message. I didn't take any screenshots of that. I should have recorded that. Even at the time, I'm thinking in the back of my head, thinking I should actually at least get a record of what was being done to the actual channel itself. I think that's all I've got. Yeah, and so from this point, it then becomes, what do I do? How do you sort of get around it? Now, I thought I could just go, I started using, by opening up the emails and then just going back through to recover your own account type thing. I tried doing that, but it was already too late by then because I'd changed everything. So everything had been changed in my Google account, and so I had no access in at all. And so there was no avenue through Google to actually then go and really sort of be able to say, hey, my account has been hacked. It's dangerous that that they've got access to all sorts of different things in my Google account. Please just shut it down. This is what I really wanted to do. So, but then I did actually see that if I go to Twitter and then actually access the Team YouTube, that was people were recommending that as a good way of actually getting things sorted. So I'll show you what I wrote there. I won't go through all everything that actually happened there, but I'll just show you the process anyway. And so essentially this is in X or Twitter. I don't know what they want to call it anymore, but anyway, I hardly ever use it, but I was already following Team YouTube. Now, you can't just send them a message. You do actually have to just do a post, a general post with @Team YouTube in it. So I just wrote @Team YouTube, please help. My Google account and YouTube was hacked 7 hours ago. So I'd been asleep basically. Well, wasn't around my computer when the hack happened. I went to sleep soon after that, and then woke up 7 hours later basically after the hack had started. I can't log into my Google account at all, and my YouTube channel has been hijacked and now says this account has been terminated for violating YouTube's community guidelines. So I started off with that one, and then they sort of then they got back. It was extremely fast, I've got to say. It doesn't show the times in through here. And so they just wrote back, so sorry you're having to deal with this, sending you a DM now to get some quick info and connect you with the team who helps with access, with account access. That was within, I think, 2 or 3 minutes of me sending this particular post. That was incredibly fast. I really wasn't expecting that. And then from I'll just see if the messages may be, I may not be able to show them. I'll have a quick look, and I'll just pause and have a look to see if I can show what was said and how things actually did develop. I've just covered up the left-hand side, which has got contacts and stuff, so I won't throw those. But anyway, this is sort of where it started. So Team YouTube got back and sort of said, hi, to start, can you send us your channel URL? So I send that one through. Thanks so much for your speedy response, I reply. Then a couple of minutes later, I'm trying to figure out what happened. I was offered a sponsorship from NordVPN yesterday, and in the contract was an exe file. I clicked on it. It seems so legit. Still not sure if that's what started it. From there, my Google account was hijacked, Gmail and YouTube as well. I have no way to log into anything Google related. And then they wrote back. You can see the time frames as well. Like this is 2:50 a.m. Now I wake up very, very early. I'd already been working on it for about an hour at this stage, just trying to go through the Google help files. No luck at all through that process. And I don't know what time I sent my message out to Google initially, but this is all within minutes of me sending that first message. And so I replied back. And so they're, within 15 minutes, that's about the sort of time frame that they're doing things. So can you send us a Gmail, G Suite email account that you have access to? Once we have that, we'll grant it access to a special form that will connect you with the specialist team. They'll get you on your way back to your account. And so I then replied back, should I start a new Gmail account? The answer was yes, because unless you've got a second Gmail account. So I did actually start one. I won't, I'll have to be careful what I now show after this, because there may be links to things that I shouldn't be showing, and also, other sensitive information. I'll just pause again and see if there's anything else I can show. Yeah, actually, I can't show any more of that. So it's essentially what then happens at that point is that they send me a couple of forms that I've got to then fill in using the account that I just had created. They still needed verification of other things as well at this point in time, just to keep all the security up. At that stage, I then managed to fill in the form, which was in the process of starting to essentially get through and stop my old Gmail, like my old Google account, which is Gmail, YouTube, the whole lot. So, but YouTube had already gone by this stage. YouTube had been taken offline and was basically a dead channel. So I can't believe what happened in just such a short period of time. From there, essentially after filling in the form, they then were able to then start to communicate with me with my other account. Now, again, I can't really show that. I'll have a quick look myself and see if there's anything else I can actually show about what was said in that process. Yeah, no, this is too much sensitive information in there, so I won't actually show that. But essentially, they sent me forms to fill in. I filled in the form, sent them back. There was emails going back and forwards as well, a lot of emails going to the new Gmail account that I'd set up. And then eventually, when was it? Would have been... how long after it's all sort of started? Probably within about 20 hours after the whole process started, I managed to get my original original Google account back under my control. That was just step one, because that then I then needed to sort of get the process started with with getting my YouTube account back. There was a lot of questions that were asked as well. So if you are a YouTuber and you are wanting to sort of just make sure you've got good information, like somewhere saved about your actual channel link, like not just like my channel everywhere. When everyone says, "Oh, okay, what's your channel name?" It's, or what's the link? I just say youtube.com/DazTactic. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for the long channel link. So have that one somewhere saved, like so you can get access to it. They need to have your AdSense identification number. So make sure you've got that saved somewhere as well. You'll often find those in emails. If you've got if you're using a Gmail account and don't have a backup of those emails, then you probably won't have access to those, I would imagine. And there's a few other little things like that. There's a fair few little ID numbers. Also the date that I started my channel, which I had no idea. I just had to guess. I just guessed, 1st of the 1st, 2010. That never came back. I was sort of wondering if, like, you have to put a date in. You can't just put in a date with a question mark. So that was the one thing I wasn't sure about. I'm not even sure if that was the right year. I just got no idea when I created my YouTube channel. Anyway, that was sort of the process. It was, I've got to say again, Team YouTube were incredible and absolutely unbelievable. But I shudder to think what would happen if I wasn't an actual YouTube partner. I don't know how on earth I would have been able to get all this thing sorted as quickly as I did, just going through the normal Google channels. I couldn't even find a contact for Google because I had read somewhere that you need to find a Google contact and then start to make inroads that way. I couldn't even find that. So if someone does know, then maybe you just write that in the description, because I know that this is going to be a very limited use to anybody that's not actually a content creator on YouTube. As I say, just going through the Google channels looks very, very difficult. So anyway, that was the fun and games that I had over the last day and a half now, I guess. But I'm so thankful that, and I'm still going to have to, all these videos have to be made from private to public, and that's not a simple little click a box type thing. That's quite an involved process of I can batch process to a degree, but nothing like it's going to take me days, I would guess, to be able to get through and do all of those. But I will sort of start to do those. But I thought I'd just give a bit of an update as to where we are now. If at the time of recording, I won't be uploading very many videos to YouTube until my internet is sorted. I think I mentioned that at the start, that my internet is broken as well, and a technician. I found it was on Friday that it happened, just basically just before this hack came in, because of the weekend, I can't get a technician until Monday, and so the technician will come in Monday. But I should be available to sort of start doing my chat tactics it's Tuesday for me, but that's going to be Monday for most of you. So that one I should be up and running properly by that stage. And anyway, we'll just go from there. I will try to upload a few videos, but I have to give back this Wi-Fi connection that I've got to my daughter in very, very limited time. So I'll see how I go. I probably won't be able to actually upload anything. Definitely won't be doing any live streams on Twitch until my internet is sorted. Anyway, guys, that's sort of where we are. So my apologies about the mess that this actually is. It's been an absolute nightmare, but I'm just so thankful that Team YouTube were able to sort of do what they did. It was real. I was so impressed. I am an absolute fanboy of what they did. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.